talked about the सेवोत्तम मॉडल also कि हमारा origin कहाँ से हुआ है. इंडिया में we believe in the सेवोत्तम मॉडल, that is excellent services. So सेवोत्तम के बारे में बात की थी. Then we talked about that from where we got that idea. So it is of British origin, right? And apart from that, we highlighted that the conference of secretaries that took place in the year of 1996, that talked about that if we are having this model of Sevottam and if Britain is having the citizen charter, so we can also opt for this citizen charter. So this conference took place in the year of 1996. Okay. Then after that, a conference of chief ministers of all the states and the UTs also took place in the year of 1997, and they finally again suggested for the adoption of citizen charter. Okay. So through this knowledge, we certainly over a period of time, every time we emphasized on the adoption of citizen charter. Okay. And as a result of those practices or those initiatives, or we can say the effort made by those conferences, certainly various departments and the ministries opted for the citizen charter. But since this document was not, the mandatory, or it was not binding upon the government institutions and the departments, so various departments have not, opted for the citizen charter. Okay? Because binding नहीं था, so definitely people will not be, necessarily going for that citizen charter, right? And the other problem is that one day some student made their point that citizen charter में क्या होता है कि like incentives are not there. What are the problems? Like if you are asking the government department or the ministry to have the citizen charter, but you are not incentivizing them for that purpose. Okay, they are having the limited staff and they are already busy with their particular task. Okay, and now you are asking them to prepare the citizen charter, which is not that easy to prepare. Like all of a sudden one person will be writing some detail. No, it requires some expertise. It requires all the details of the department, and a meaningful citizen charter should be updated frequently also. So some dedicated persons are required to look into that citizen charter, but government is not providing any incentive, and it is not giving that weightage to the citizen charter. Because of this, simply the state governments or we can say all the departments and the ministries are not getting that motivation to have this citizen charter. उनको लगता है कि like unnecessarily we will be wasting time और इसका कोई मतलब नहीं है, and obviously everyone will be trying to avoid the accountability, trying to avoid कि हमें responsive ना बनाया जाए, right? So for that purpose they will be avoiding. So what we can suggest is that first of all we need to develop, if we are really serious about this citizen charter, so हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? First of all we need to bring about the clarity in the citizen charter, that awareness generation should be there among the citizens, among the employees, that citizen अगर हमारे पास citizen charter होगा, so what will be the benefit? वो awareness generation create करनी पड़ेगी, awareness generate करनी पड़ेगी. Then after that we need to provide adequate fund, and we need to dedicate some people in every department that you are the responsible person for the citizen charter, right? So उसके बारे में सोच, then we can think of the citizen charter, or other step obviously would be to make it, this document is the binding one upon the public agency, just like the RTI के केस में क्या है, within the 30 days every public official need to give the information. अगर आपने RTI फाइल की है, so within 30 days उसका reply आना चाहिए. If that reply is not coming, then certainly that public official will be subjected to some fine or that some punishment. So that kind of provision if we can bring in case of citizen charter, so some fruitful results can come, right? So ये हो सकता है, and first of all awareness is more we can say the broader issue, क्योंकि अभी citizen charter when we are discussing in the class, it is very very uncommon to us. So it should be very common, or it should be made everything, like it should be made very binding and very compulsory for all the department. So ये सारी चीजें हैं. Shubham is there in the class. Good morning, Shubham. So this is your first class. Shubham, okay, Shubham, अच्छा यहाँ पे, okay, okay, आज ऑनलाइन कैसे शुभम? Okay, so citizen charter ये हो गया, right? So we will write something about citizen charter, then we will be moving on to the accountability and control. Please write about the citizen charter. Fever हो गया है, okay, fine. Okay, Shubham. So citizen charter, Priyam, Shubham, everybody will be writing. So here you write, it is a document of commitment. It is a document of commitment made by government agency. It is a document of commitment made by a government agency to the citizens. It is a document of commitment made by government agency to citizens. In respect of the services being provided to them. In respect of, it is a document of commitment made by government agency to the citizens in respect of services being provided to them. Okay. In respect of services being provided to them, then you write, it empowers the citizens. It empowers the citizens to demand. It empowers the citizens to demand the committed standard of services. It empowers the citizens to demand the committed standards of service. It empowers the citizens to demand the committed standard of service. Are you able to relate? कि अगर explicitly highlight कर दिया जाएगा कि हम ये provide कराएंगे नहीं करेंगे, so that will another way we are empowering the citizen to demand for the committed standard. ठीक है? Then you write, it is not legally enforceable. It is not legally enforceable. It is not legally enforceable. Hence, it is non-justiciable in nature. It is not legally enforceable. Hence, it is non-justiciable in nature. Okay. So, आपको पता है non-justiciable. आप like in case of polity, have you completed this fundamental rights part? Non-justiciable पता ही होगा. So, it is not legally enforceable. Hence, they are non-justiciable in nature. अगर नहीं किसी गवर्नमेंट ने बोला तो you cannot challenge that authority in court of law. Then its objective is to build bridges between citizens and administration. Its objective is to build right. Then you write about the Sevottam model. In the next paragraph, you will be writing. You need not to. Okay, as a heading, you can write Sevottam model. Then under this Sevottam model, you write. So here you write Sevottam model. In case of India, we follow the Sevottam model. In case of India, we follow the Sevottam model, and citizen charter is one of the component of Sevottam model. In case of India, we follow the Sevottam model, and citizen charter is one of the component of the Sevottam model. One of the component of the Sevottam model. So then you write, it is just like that. This way you should write. Sevottam. So it is Seva and this is Sevottam. That will be right. So let's say it. Right. So Sevottam model. So citizen charter is one of the component of Sevottam model. Then you write other two components are the public grievance redressal mechanism. The second component of Sevottam model. Then the third component is service delivery capability. Okay. So citizen charter के बारे में तो हमने लिख लिया है. Then you can write about this public grievance redressal mechanism. So for this public grievance redressal mechanism, you write a line that it requires a good grievance redressal system. We are writing about the second component, that is public grievance redressal system. So it requires a grievance redressal system operating in a manner that leaves the citizen more satisfied with the organization okay, with respect to its response and the grievance redressal with respect to its response and grievance redressal, right? This is about the grievance redressal mechanism. Like citizens should be empowered with the grievance redressal mechanism, where they can, they can approach the authority in case of any grievances. Then you write about the third component. So it is about efficiently managing the key ingredients. Key ingredients for good service delivery. And building its own capacity. And building its own capacity to continuously improve upon service delivery. Right? So this is about the Sevottam model. Now in the next paragraph you write, however, the concept of citizen charter was first articulated in United Kingdom. However, the concept of citizen charter first articulated in United Kingdom, UK. Okay. United Kingdom in 1991 by conservative government. First, it was articulated in United Kingdom by conservative government in 1991, okay, or in 1991 by conservative government, right? So, then you write the Citizen Charter had 6 principles. The Citizen Charter had 6 principles. What are those principles? It is very important when you will be writing the answer. So, of course, principles जरूर लिखिए. We discussed about that. Okay, so 6 principles of Citizen Charter. What are those principles? हमारे पास थे ना, quality, choices, standard, value. So number 1 is quality, then choices and value, and 4 is standard, and after that we have the transparency, choices हो गया, and the standard value, accountability and transparency are the two. Accountability and 6th is transparency. What is the meaning of this principle? By principle, we mean to say that these are the principles, these are the basic tenets on which the Citizen Charter has been created. Like Citizen Charter, आपको feel आना चाहिए like this is the principle. Like what is the purpose behind creation of this Citizen Charter? So just to ensure the quality of services, because अगर आप पहले से that explicitly anyone will be highlighting this kind of service we will be providing, this kind of quality, the goods we will be providing, goods and services, anything we can talk about. So that will be certainly ensuring the quality of service, right? Then उसमें Citizen Charter will also be providing the choices that if you are not satisfied with particular the service or the the delivery of any goods or service you can say, so choices will also be provided. This is the component of Citizen Charter. अगर Citizen Charter नहीं होगा तो customer के पास choice नहीं होगी. So certainly this is based on this principle also, that it will be ensuring the choices to the people. Then it will be having the values. Value component will also be there क्योंकि हम पहले से commit कर रहे हैं like what we are going to provide. So they will not be adhering to deviating from the value. For example, I was giving the example of the sweet shop. So अब क्या होगा, like if Citizen Charter will be there, so value component will be automatically added. We are saying क्योंकि उसमें the kind of ingredients that shopkeeper will be using, वो कुछ भी use नहीं करेगा. That will be of some standard, that will be of some value. उसको लोगों को दिखाना है, like in public domain the Citizen Charter is being published, तो उसको दिखाना पड़ेगा how good ingredients have been used. ठीक है, value component will also be coming. Then certain standards will be there. Some standards will be there. So वो भी like in public domain में आपको आ रहा है like what, how you are doing the work. So standardization भी हो जाएगा. And definitely accountability will also be there. If you are not fulfilling that, you need to be accountable. And transparency, like in the public domain, explicitly you are highlighting that what you are going to provide, right? So these principles should be, should be given adequate, the importance. और आपको इस पे ध्यान देना चाहिए like what are the meaning of this principle. On these, these are the basis. हमें क्या चाहिए? Whenever we are looking for a service, suppose you are looking for the classes here. So आपको क्या क्या चाहिए होगा? What all you will be requiring? So all these you will be requiring. सबसे पहले आपको quality चाहिए होगी. Then you will be looking for the choices. कि अगर आपको सुबह नहीं, like you are not able to attend the classes in the morning, okay? So you will be attending the classes in the evening. So citizen charter will be ensuring these choices value, right? And value आपको value component चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं unethical way में चीजें चल रही हैं, standard accountability and transparency. अगर ये सारी चीजें सर्विसेज में चाहिए, so how these things can be ensured? So answer to these problems, अगर आपको ये सारे की सारी चाहिए, if you all need all, so answer to all these problems is CC, that is citizen charter. If citizen charter will be there, then certainly we will be able to ensure all these things. Okay? So these are the principles of citizen charter. Then next you write in the next paragraph, you write the central government organized a conference. The central government organized a conference of chief secretaries of state. The central government organized a conference of chief secretaries of states and union territories. The central government organized a conference of chief secretaries of state and union territories in 1996. And the topic of this conference was, effective and responsive administration. The topic of this conference was the effective and responsive administration. The effective and responsive administration. Then you write this conference altogether recommended for adoption of citizen charters. This conference altogether recommended for adoption of citizen charters for all public service organizations. This citizen charter recommended for adoption of citizen charters for all public service organizations. Okay, then you write this recommendation was approved by the center state. This recommendation was approved by the center, state, and union territories in the conference of chief ministers. This recommendation was approved by the center, state, and union territories in the conference of chief ministers held in 1997. Okay. So now we are approving that. Yes, it is good idea. We should implement the citizen charter. Okay. Then you write, since its approval in 1997, various ministries, departments, directorates, and various other agencies have formulated a number of citizen charters. Okay, they have formulated a number. All these directorates, the ministry, department, directors, and other agencies have, formulated number of citizen charters. Okay, then after that you will be writing about now you write the evaluation of citizen charter, like how many states have or the departments have created citizen charter or not. So evaluation of citizen charter. Evaluation of citizen charter. So here you write the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. So issues के बारे में बात करेंगे, like क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, like people have not opted for that. So heading is evaluation of citizen charter. Then we need to write Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances engaged a professional agency to develop a standardized model for internal and external evaluation of citizen charters. So the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances engaged a professional agency to develop a standardized model for internal and external evaluation of citizen charters. Okay. So the agency carried out evaluation. The specialized agency. Okay. The agency carried out the evaluation of citizen charters in 5 central government organizations. The agency carried out the evaluation of implementation of citizen charters. Okay, just to check whether the departments are coming up with the citizen charter or not. So for this purpose, agency was involved, a particular agency. Okay, so agency का नाम we are not having because that is not that important. Okay, किसी भी private organization को दे दिया होगा. Okay, so that agency carried out evaluation of implementation of charters in 5 central government organizations and 15 departments and organizations of states of the Andhra Pradesh, state of Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. The state of Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. So 5 central government organizations and 15 departments, organization of the state of Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. Okay. Then you write the findings of the evaluations were as follows. उसको क्या मिला? What were the reasons? What were the reasons why people were not adopting? Why they were not going for this citizen charter? We will be understanding that now. Okay. So findings of evaluation were as follows. So now write your findings. Point number 1. In a majority of the cases, charters were not formulated. In majority of the cases, CC only, right? So that we can write quickly. So in majority, this agency found that in majority of the cases, charters were not formulated through consultative process. Charters were not formulated through consultative process. ठीक है, consultative process से नहीं बनाया जा रहा था. Then the 2 is it was also found that more or less the service providers, it was also found that more or less the service providers were not familiar with the philosophy of citizen charter. बना रहे हैं citizen charter, but they are not aware of citizen charter होता क्या है, what is the essence, what is the purpose. So this agency found that they were not aware of the philosophy of citizen charter. Then other is that no fund have been specifically no fund have been specifically allotted for awareness generation of citizen charter or for the orientation of staff on various components of the charter. Okay, so that is another issue. This is another problem, that separate fund is not allocated. So issues are clear till now, like the low awareness nahi hai, importance nahi samajh rahe hain, and the separate fund we are not allocating. So now based on these issues, now we will write about, and obviously that non-binding nature जो हमने very first definition के साथ लिख दिया था कि they are non-justiciable in nature. Now we will write some recommendation. What should be the future course of action? How we can improve this scenario? So please write about the measures to improve or the suggestions, or you can write the way forward as well. Okay. So first point under this, there is need to work for creation of database. There is need to work for creation of database on consumer grievances and redressal. There is need to work for consumer grievances and redressal. Then also point number two, there is also need for the consultation. There is also need for consultation with that of citizens and staff, at every stage of formulation of the citizen charters. There is need for consultation with that of the citizens and the staff in every step of this formulation of citizen charter. ठीक है, जब भी बनाएंगे, so there should be wider consultation with that of citizens and the staff. Then orientation of staff. The point number 3. Third point is the orientation of staff about the salient features and objectives of citizen charter. The orientation of staff about the salient feature and objectives of charter need to be emphasized further. That we need to focus on the salient feature and the goals and the features of citizen charter. ठीक है, ये हमें करने की जरूरत है. Then there is need to allocate a special fund for adoption of citizen charter. There is need to create a special fund for adoption of citizen charter. All department will be having some fund, separate fund for the allocation of this coming for formulating the citizen charter. There should be earmarking of separate fund. Okay. Then last point is under this topic citizen charter. There is also a need for wider publicity of citizen charter. There is also a need for wider publicity of citizen charter through the print media, posters, banners, brochures, local newspapers, etc. तभी लोगों को सबको पता चलना चाहिए what is this the citizen charter all about. तभी that things will be walking in the right direction. So this is all about the citizen charter. आपको थोड़ा लिखने से छुटकारा मिल जाएगा. Now we will be moving on to the next topic, that is accountability and control. Right. So first of all, we will see that how accountability and control are related to governance. Okay. So the accountability and control are related to the governance in a way that how all the administrative agencies, how the governments, and how every the body that is responsible for the welfare of the people is working, that will be coming under the accountability and control. So we will make it more clear. Accountability and control. Okay, and जो आपके टॉपिक मेंशन किया गया है आपके सिलेबस में, उसका नाम है ट्रांसपेरेंसी एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी. बट जस्ट टू in the continuation of our previous topics, हम accountability के बारे में बेसिकली बात कर रहे हैं. And accountability word will be always coming up with the control. ठीक है? So because of that we are talking. And transparency के बारे में हम बाद में बात करेंगे when we will talk about this role of the civil society. So transparency के बारे में हम बात करेंगे. As of now, our topic of discussion is accountability and control. Okay. So what is governance? Governance is all about providing the goods, the delivery of goods and services to the people in an effective way, in a very smooth manner, so that everyone is satisfied and everyone is getting the services in a time-bound manner, and they are that they are not facing any problem. So this is the governance. Now, in order to bring about better governance, we need to have the accountability. Suppose a particular IAS officer is there, okay? A particular IAS officer is working in the district, so we cannot allow that IAS officer to, like, आपने exam crack कर लिया, so now you are allowed to do whatever you want. Yeah, you are allowed to very free to to perform the administrative function the way you want. No, simply we cannot allow any person, any authority to function like that. Okay. Similarly, this is the example of executive. If the government of government has been elected by the people, so हम government को भी allow नहीं कर सकते, like you can function the way you want, right? So I mean to say is that all the political authorities or all the executive authorities, simply in a democratic system, we cannot allow them to function independently, because that way there may be breaching of constitutional norms or the breaching of their offices. So just to bring about the fairness in their conduct, we are having the word called as accountability. Okay, accountability. That means जो भी body work करेगी, any kind of body that will be operating under the political system of India or the any democratic system, that body will be subjected to some kind of accountability. Then only we will be able to provide better governance. Okay, so how the IAS officer, IAS, IPS officer, or we can say the bureaucrats overall, they will be guided by the civil services conduct rule. Civil services conduct rule. ऐसा नहीं होगा like you have cracked the exam, so you can do whatever you want. No, you are accountable to your service. You are accountable to the civil services conduct rule. Okay, this is one. Now the government अब full majority के साथ government बन चुकी है, like all the 372 something the majority mark is required. So the current government is also having somewhere around this 382 number in the Lok Sabha. But this does not mean that government will be doing whatever it wants to do. But so how it will be controlled? It will be controlled. It will be the accountable to the people of India. Accountable to people of India, and it will be accountable to the कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, अगर पर्टिकुलरली बात करें तो इट विल बी अकाउंटेबल टू द पार्लियामेंट, ओके, एंड उससे भी माइक्रो डिटेल बात करें तो इट विल बी अकाउंटेबल टू द लोकसभा, ओके। व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस? दैट मींस whatever function the government will be performing, it need to be answerable to the people of India, it need to be answerable to the constitution, it need to be answerable to the parliament, okay, and the Lok Sabha, right? So yeah, accountability to the people or constitution is thoda like, you know, the big term, and it is very subjective also. हम कैसे decide करेंगे like whether it is accountable to the people or not? ये constitution थोड़ा subjective है, but particularly अगर parliament का example लें, so you know when the government functions and you know that in its functioning government is coming up with any laws, for example the farm laws, okay, yeah. Government came up with the farm laws. Somehow those farm laws were not liked by the farmers of India, farmers of the country. So, and you know this parliament will be having all the members of, you know, the opposition party member, this government like the ruling government party member, everyone will be there in the parliament. So these farm laws will be discussed in the parliament. Now the parliamentary members will be questioning the government like why and how you are bringing up these laws. That means they are making the government accountable. And फिर हमारे पास लोकसभा है, particularly if we are talking about, so this Lok Sabha will also be discussing definitely the work of government, any bill that government is coming up with, and you know this Lok Sabha, अगर government नहीं बनेगी, government is not listening to the voices of this Lok Sabha and the parliament, then the no confidence motion can be brought up. Okay? So no confidence motion होता है हमारे पास, no confidence motion. In parliamentary chapter, you will get to know about this no confidence motion, and some people are aware of this. Okay, मतलब we are not dealing with all this no confidence motion formulas or other kind of thing. But I just want to make a point that जो भी authorities democratic system में काम कर रही है, they are not independent. उनको जो मन कर रहा है करो, ऐसा नहीं होगा. They are subjected to the system. They are, you know, abided by the rules and regulations of the constitution. They are, you know, accountable to the people, those who have voted for the government. Okay, so इस context में we will talk about, you know, the control of various bodies over the administration, and in turn control of various bodies in the governance of the country. Okay? Like how the legislature of India is having control over the government or over the governance, okay, and how the executive is having control over the administration. Okay, that means agar suppose we are providing the education system, okay, we are providing education to the people. Simple example, we are providing education, or we can say the health services. We are providing education or the health services to the people. Okay? Then our topic of discussion here is that how various bodies will be having control, किस type की education policy आनी चाहिए, what type of health policy should be coming, who will decide, and how much control they will be having. So according to me, you know, it is the legislature that is having the control. Then we have the executive. जिसको पॉलिटिक्स थोड़ा कम समझ होगी उसको समझ नहीं आएगा, बट उसको बोलना पड़ेगा. Okay, legislature is having the control. Then I am saying the judiciary is having the control. Judiciary किस टाइप की एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आएगी, एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में कितना फंड एलोकेट किया जाएगा, एंड यू नो द एजुकेशन पॉलिसी केम इन द ईयर ऑफ जून और जुलाई 2020. ठीक है, सो एट दैट टाइम क्या करिकुलम होगा, किस टाइप की कंडीशंस होंगी, टीचर हायर लेवल पे टीचर रिक्रूटमेंट होने हैं, हायर सेकेंडरी लेवल पे व्हाट विल बी द कंडीशंस, सो ये कौन डिसाइड करेगा एंड हु विल बी हैविंग कंट्रोल ओवर दिस. ओके, सो एजुकेशन सेम काइंड ऑफ हेल्थ में, लाइक व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पॉलिसी विल बी कमिंग, सो हेल्थ हो गया एंड एनी काइंड ऑफ एग्जांपल वी कैन टेक हियर. अगर मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट के लिए पॉलिसी बन रही है, सो यू नो for motor vehicle act also who will be having control, so we are saying that you know this legislature will have a say in this, executive will have a say in the education policy. Okay, they will be having, and this judiciary also will be having the role to play, and finally you know the people will be having a role to play. Okay, so all these, you know, the legislature, executive, judiciary and the people, all of them used to exercise their control over these policies. So under this topic we need to you know study about that, or you know that if legislature is having control over the education policy, so legislature ko you know kisko accountable hoga, and if executive is having control, so executive will be accountable to whom, and how you know the judiciary will be having role to play. सबसे पहले हम जुडिशरी का रोल समझते थोड़ा सा, then we will be going one by one. So you know the how the judiciary will be having role to play in case of education. For example, National Education Policy Act NEP 2020. Okay, the way about which I was talking about. Okay, so National Policy 2020 Act, right? And it was having some issues. इसके साथ कुछ प्रॉब्लम थी, करिकुलम में प्रॉब्लम थी, like for the grade 1 to 5th there was more number of classes, या उनका syllabus थोड़ा ज़्यादा था. Some issues were there in the National Education Policy 2020. ठीक है? अब the legislature, both the houses of parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, has passed this policy, and finally we have got this. ठीक है? Policy आ गई. Now the judiciary will be how judiciary will be exercising the role. Someone will be some aware citizen like you, UPSC aspirant, कोई जाएगा इसमें PIL फाइल कर देगा, PIL फाइल कर देगा, public interest litigation, that this policy is not working well, this policy is not serving the purpose, so judiciary will be coming into picture. Judiciary will be coming into picture, or judiciary will review this policy. What you are doing, we will be looking into this. Judiciary will be looking into the syllabus, the whatever problem will be there, and then judiciary will be suggesting some ways like what should be there and what should not be there. So certainly we can say judiciary is having control over the you know the administration or the governance of the country, because it is having interference in the education policy. So हमें इन सब के बारे में पढ़ना है, like how they are exercising the control and whom they are accountable, right? So now moving on to our accountability concept again. And you know that in this governance classes you will get to know about each and every aspect of your civil services. धीरे धीरे करके आपको सब पता चल जाएगा, like what is the how recruitment is done, how you know the how IAS officers are working, how IPS officers are working, what is the relationship between this, you know, the IAS and IPS, what is the relationship of this IAS people with that of the, you know, the politicians, all these things. इस सब के बारे में बात करेंगे, because governance is about all those things. Okay, so accountability and control. सबसे पहले तो if you are, you know, going by the very definition, so अब in the democratic government accountability जरूरी है. हम वही वाली बात, like we cannot allow anyone to function that. Okay, और फिर control होता है to check that this person is working, this body is working well. We need to exercise the control. So this is basic definition. Now, first of all, we will talk about the legislative control. Okay, so yes, first topic would be legislative control over the administration. legislative control over the administration. Okay. So, legislature will not be having direct control over the administration. Direct governance deal nahi karega, but it will be, it will be having some feature. It will be having some feature through which it will be having control over the administration. So now I want to ask the question to, the people who have studied polity. So हमारे पास क्या-क्या mechanisms होते हैं? How the legislature used to exercise control over the executive. In the parliamentary setup, I am talking about how the legislature used to exercise control over the executive. एक point लिखूँगा, 100% I am sure that you will be able to tell me about rest of the points. Legislature is having control over the executive through the question hour. Question hour. What does it mean? इसका मतलब ये है, then definitely after that you will be adding a point. Question hour, that I am saying the legislative control over the administration. Who is executive? Executive is the union minister. Executive is the prime minister. So these are the executive. ठीक है? So they are coming up with the policy. मोदी जी ने बोल दिया, for example, कि we are coming up with a policy for motor vehicle act. ठीक है? And there will be certain provisions. And उसमें ये होगा कि like those who will be caught without helmet on, those will be in some the practices. So this much fine will be there, and there will be renewal of the RC after 10 years. कुछ भी provisions हो सकते हैं motor vehicle act के. Okay, this kind of act the executive, that is cabinet council of minister and the prime minister is trying to coming up with that kind of bill. Okay, अब the question hour is a device available in the parliamentary system through which any member of the parliament will be asking question to the concerned minister. The transport minister होगा, उसको any member of parliament will be asking question to the minister. Dear minister, why you are coming up with this particular policy? What is the purpose? How you are thinking that this motor vehicle act will be able to serve the purpose? Okay, will be helping the people. What is the reason? Why you are coming with that? Okay, so what will be the device? Device will be question hour. Through this question hour, the member of parliament will be asking question to the transport minister. That means the legislature, that is member of parliament is asking question to the executive. That means legislature is asking question to the executive. So and the motor vehicle act बनाई किस लिए जा रही है? To bring about better administration, to bring about better governance. So certainly can we say that legislature is having control over the administration? क्योंकि executive minister भी तो policy administration के लिए बना रहा है, and the legislature, the member of this legislature is asking question to the minister. Certainly we can say that that is having control. Okay, so the first aspect is question hour. Then two, we have the that 0 hour. उसके बाद we have the parliamentary committees. Parliamentary committees होगी, because 0 hour में क्या होगा? Question will be asked without any notice. This is the difference between this 0 hour and question hour. इसके लिए allocated time होगा, and for this 0 hour there will be no time. All of a sudden, without any notice, question will be asked, and this is the time period between the question hour and actually beginning of the proceeding of the house, right? And parliamentary committees भी वही काम करेंगे, like when the government will be coming up with a bill, so the parliamentary committees will be scrutinizing that bill कि कौन से provision में problem है. So that means again this legislature is exercising control over the executive. Government से question पूछ रहे हैं, and executive are only the union ministers and the prime minister. So हम यहाँ पे टाइम एंड अगेन क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट से, व्हाई यू आर कमिंग अप विद दिस पॉलिसी, हमें आंसर चाहिए. सो दिस पार्लियामेंट्री कमिटीज विल आल्सो बी that asking the question to the government. Now question to Priyam, please tell me any other the mechanism, any other tools available with the legislature or available with the parliament to have control over the executive, or in other words we can say to have control over the administration. Okay, so parliamentary control, what are the parliamentary devices through which the executive is being controlled? Question hour is 1, 0 hour 1, right? उससे हम क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं, ओके, एंड 0 आवर्स में हम भी उसमें भी क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं. Very good. Several motions. Very good. Several motions will be there. For example, the no confidence motions. No confidence motion. Any other? Now you are doing the right direction. No confidence motion. Any other devices you are aware of? Any other devices जिससे हम एग्जीक्यूटिव को रिस्पांसिबल बनाते हैं, अकाउंटेबल बनाते हैं. Now are you able to relate this accountability concept? Legislature is exercising the control. Then what we are doing? We are ensuring the accountability of the executive. ठीक है? So आपको ये बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से ध्यान देना है, because this type of question has been asked directly in the examination. Okay. So any other which you can think of? Departmental standing committees of parliament, very good, very good. And other which we can add it, the audit. CAG का काम क्या होता है, हम यहाँ पे अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे CAG का काम क्या होता है. So CAG, Comptroller Auditor General of India, CAG. ठीक है? What will be the purpose? If the government of India has allocated some fund to any particular project or any particular scheme, for example, they have for this Ayushman Bharat, okay, which is providing Ayushman Bharat, okay, for this the healthcare facilities. अगर आयुष्मान भारत गवर्नमेंट ने लॉन्च किया है and they have allocated the 20,000 crore, here we they have allocated 20 here, right? Government of India has launched this program, that is Ayushman Bharat, right? And then government in the budget session, the recent budget that was passed in the month of that February, they have allocated 20,000 crore. That 20,000 crore will be allocated to Ayushman Bharat. Next time क्या होगा? That CAG will be there, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Okay, it will be checking whether this amount has been spent in the right way or not. Why it was actually required or not? What is the actual expenditure? और कहाँ पे कैसे एक्सपेक्ट किया गया है, this CAG will be checking. So CAG is called as the the monitor of public purse in India, right? So ये monitor करता है, every spending that government will be having will be checked by the CAG. Okay, so can we say that CAG is also exercising control over the executive? क्योंकि executive जब that it is spending some amount, that is being checked, that is being questioned. So certainly we can say the CAG is also exercising control over the administration and it is making the government accountable to the system. ऐसे free कुछ भी नहीं, कितना भी amount allocate कर दो ऐसे नहीं होगा. So certainly we can say along with this question hour, this 0 hour parliamentary committees, various motions, calling attention motion, and no confidence motion, right? And along with that, CAG is also exercising control over the administration. So I hope Anmol, Priya, Shubham, and everyone is clear about that. The legislature administration पे ये governance पे control कैसे करें? It is clear to everyone, right? Now the next is, it's fine for you, it is making sense for you, like how it is exercising the control. All right, very good. So the next is that this we were talking about in case of the parliamentary system. In case of parliamentary system हमने बात की, and what do we understand by this parliamentary system? Parliamentary system वो होता है जहाँ पे executive is responsible to the legislature. Okay? Executive is responsible to the legislature. And what is this presidential system? Presidential system is one where the executive is not responsible to the legislature. Executive is not responsible to the legislature. Okay. So in case of here, we have seen in case of parliamentary system, हमने देख लिया how the legislature will be exercising the control. Now we will talk about the presidential system. Okay, presidential system. But time is almost over and we are not having any time to explain to the next class here. Right? So presidential system, and this presidential system is prevailing in case of US. So US में legislature कैसे control करेगा executive को when they are very much separate. In case of India क्या है? Executive, this is executive, this is legislature, and this is judiciary. This is the case of India, that they are interlinked. If not, the judiciary is not there, but judiciary will be appointment, president will be making the appointment, and that the recommendation will be made, and so many things are interlinked. So this is the case of India. But when it comes to US, this is the case of US. E, L, and J. Okay. The three organs of the state. This is India. Okay, and this is US. Okay. So the three organs of the state are very separated from each other. So if the executive is making any policy, how this legislature will be exercising the control, right? And how this judiciary will be exercising the control. क्योंकि वहाँ पे तो interlinked ही नहीं है, they are very much independent. Okay. So in that regard also we have some the cases. For example, the suppose yes. So only few points I will add just to show you that there also existed in this control is existed. So in case of US, we have the Senate, and the Senate is the upper house. It is similar to that of the Rajya Sabha in India. Okay, so Senate is there, and we have the House of Representatives. House of Representatives. This is the lower house, similar to that of Lok Sabha in India. Okay, so this is IAS. These are the two houses, and they are very much separated from executive. So that when this executive will be taking any decision, so for example, it is related to the treaty, signing the treaty with foreign nation. So executive, and who is executive in US? Only the president of US, and that person only will be deciding किसके साथ कौन सी treaty sign करनी है, and that treaty will be ratified by the Senate. Okay, India के साथ क्या treaty sign करोगे? The president will be taking the whole sole decision. That is fine, but that will be approved and ratified by the Senate. So definitely, certainly, we can say that the legislature is having control over the executive. ऐसा तो नहीं कि independently it can do anything. And similarly, when the president or US में क्या होता है, like in case of India, हमारे जो like member of parliament होंगे, among them some of them will be chosen for the minister. Some MPs will be promoted that okay, you will become the home minister, you will become the defense minister. But in case of US में क्या होगा? The US president can appoint anyone. आपको उठा के सीधे directly secretary of state. it is not important कि उसने election contest किया or नहीं, and directly, you know, suppose any X person is the US president, then all his friend and the family member, anyone can be appointed as the Secretary of State. किसी भी post पे US president will be appointed. US president will be having power, but who will be approving? It will be the Senate. It will be the, you know, it is called the Parliament of US, we can say, right? So certainly we can say here also the control is there. So, बाकी चीजें we will discuss tomorrow. And in case of you know that एक चीज और बात कर लेते हैं. Suppose in case of India क्या होता है? Like this legislature is there, and we are also having the legislature, the Parliament of India. जब भी कोई law बनाया जाएगा, so Parliament will be passing the bill, both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha will be passing the bill, and then that bill will be going to the President of India for final approval. The President of India approve कर देगा, then that will become the act, right? लेकिन in case of US and also in case of India, it is the Union Executive, that is Prime Minister and Cabinet Minister, जो decide करते हैं कौन सी policy लाएगी. Obviously, the Indian Prime Minister is very much powerful. बिना उसके तो कोई policy start हो नहीं सकती. But in case of US President से पूछा नहीं जाएगा. This will not be asked. US President से कोई मतलब नहीं. Legislature independently, that is Senate and the House of Representatives, they will be thinking that एक policy की जरूरत है. We will be bringing up that policy. ये दोनों पॉलिसी लेके आएंगे, they will be passing with a majority, then finally it will also be sent to presidential reference. But unlike the, you know, that कि पहले तो पूछा नहीं गया है, they are starting and it will be having only 10 days to decide. Just like the Rajya Sabha suspensive power, अगर 10 days में ratify president, US president ने किया तो ठीक, नहीं किया, then also that you know, that power, the bill will be passed. So certainly we can say that here the legislature is having that power, okay? So but the executive control is little bit control is there. So इसके बारे में हम कल बात करेंगे how executive control, okay, the legislative control is taking place in case of the presidential system, ठीक है? Then also we will talk about the executive control. ये तो हम आज जो भी बात कर रहे हैं that is related to how legislature is having control over the administration. Tomorrow we will talk about how the executive is exercising the control over the administration. Okay, so this is all for this class. Thank you everyone. We will be meeting tomorrow. इतना कम टाइम रहता है, like I cannot even say that if any doubt is there, so you can ask the question. Time नहीं है 1 minute, but if you are having any doubt, तो कल पूछ सकते हैं, and in between also you can ask something. So that is what we can do, right? So this is all. I'm going to end the meeting.